We were keen to retrofit our house because it was cold and damp during the winter, so we were keen to make the home cosier, warmer, but also to cut carbon at the same time.
So we started off in 2012. We had a whole house assessment done by Carbon Co-op, and that sort of gave us ideas about what would give us the most benefit versus the sort of least cost, and how much carbon we'd save with each sort of measure. So it gave us a whole sort of list of measures that we could take on.
So far we've had a new boiler fitted, which is great because the old one used to break down during cold weather. We've had internal insulation in the kitchen and in the kitchen roof to make that a warmer space. We've had some of the passive stack ventilation put in, which to improve ventilation through the kitchen, and that will eventually ventilate the whole house. Solar panels, yeah, which went on last November. Insulation underneath the floors, and top up the loft insulation. Finish off the passive stack ventilation and have some air tightness work done too, because it's an old house and it can be quite drafty. And also some triple glazed windows put in where the windows need replacing.
It's cost us £19,000, including all the fees, your building regs, fees to Urbed for project managing and those sort of things, procurement fees.
I think the solar panels have been a lot better than I expected. We're more conscious of how we use electricity because we're generating electricity, and I think it's been really useful in that way, because we think about what we're switching on, and we're trying to keep usage down within or as close to what we're producing during the day as we can. We've had the monitor for a year longer than we've had the panels, and I think after a few weeks the monitor was great. It was great for a few weeks, but then you stop noticing it. It's just a little panel with numbers on it that you don't look at. But I think when you're producing,
yeah, it's sort of more dynamic, isn't it?
It's more interesting. Yeah. You want to use that energy that you're producing. So I think it makes you a bit smarter about the way you use electricity.
We can monitor how much energy is being produced by the solar panels by either checking the app on our phones that will tell us how much we're sort of generating at the time, or checking our monitor, so it can go from not producing anything if it's very cloudy or if it's getting dark, to 0 through up to almost 4 kilowatts of energy. And we have a monitor that we can look at to see what the patterns of energy use are, and it summarises how much we've generated so far. So that's a really useful tool to see how they're functioning, and yeah.
And sort of what time of day to put the appliances on, because you can see that sort of around about 12 o'clock you're producing a lot more power than you are rather it's first thing in the morning. So, and we've got that as an app on our phones, as well as being able to look at it in more detail on a PC, so you can switch things on accordingly. The panels cost about £7,000, including a power optimiser, which makes best use of the light that's going onto the panels. We think we're going to get about £600–700 a year in feed-in tariff. So in those terms it will take about 10 years to pay back. But we're also using that electricity that we produce during the day, so it's saving us more than what we get in feed-in tariff. Since we got the panels fitted 9 months ago, we've saved 1,200 kilograms of CO2, so that's quite a significant saving.
Since we've had the panels, I would definitely recommend them to other people. Before we got them, we weren't thinking that they were an essential part of the project, but I think now, they're something I'd certainly recommend to other people. I think the cost of them is coming down, making them more affordable, and people can, I think, see that it makes sense more.
Bought an electric car recently, which uses electricity to charge it, and it's really useful to have a charging point at home, just in case we're running low with that.
Can drive up to about 120 miles on a full battery, but we don't really take it down below sort of 30-40 miles, and we can always charge it in Greater Manchester. You can charge it on free parking spots for you can stay in a parking spot for 4 hours in Manchester. Michael can charge it for free at work, so there's loads of opportunities just to bring the battery up to 100% and go again. So it's been brilliant. Yeah.
I suppose because we're out at work, we don't get to fully use that sort of use the potential of the sun. But definitely when the car is at home, we can use the panels to charge it, and I think that it is satisfying to think you're driving on the sun. It's great. I'd recommend it. I think everybody needs to retrofit. I think there's to cut energy usage enough. What people need to retrofit, but I think people need to go into the process with expecting disruption, and that it's not going to be a really easy process. But there are the real tangible benefits at the end of it, and people will save money, but the house should also be cosier and healthier at the end of the process. So from that perspective, definitely.
You can visit homes like these at green open home events held regularly around the UK. For more information on how Carbon Co-op can help you improve your home and reduce your emissions, visit our website.